From our nation's capital, this is the
National Weather Desk. Hailstorms batter Florida and Texas with some hail as large as softballs.
The weather is very funny, so you never know what's going to happen.
Rising river. Communities along the Mississippi work overtime to keep the floodwaters out of their homes.
The water will climb about another foot as we head towards the weekend.
Waiting for the melt. Can Utah avoid a flood when the state's record snowpack finally melts?
The rivers are going to start really cranking.
Weather alerts. Will changes at Twitter impact your ability to get important weather information?
I don't recommend that you use social media at all when it comes to warnings.
And the benefits of building a rain garden. Is on alert right now for the possibility, we're talking of more severe weather today, just one day after a rare hailstorm battered the state. Check this out right here. Firefighters in Melbourne shared this video of them driving through the hailstorm. This is something they are not used to seeing in that part of Florida. And this right here, this is not a school up north. This is Central Middle School in West Melbourne. The hail covered, as you can see here, the entire courtyard. And take a look at this. This looks like the snow piled up on the side of the road, but it's actually hail. The hail was coming down so hard, traffic came to a standstill on I-95. The rain washed it off the road and then onto the shoulder. Most of it melted actually in around 10 minutes. It could be a while, though, before folks in Florida forget this scene right here. Katie Venti explains.
I did see earlier how big the hail was on 95. And that's a little crazy. I mean, I've seen that in Colorado. I've never really seen that down here. I've usually hail is about that big.
Severe weather across Palm Beach County and up the Treasure Coast, serving strong winds, heavy rain, and hail.
The weather is very funny, so you never know what's going to happen.
Some residents saying they saw hail the size of ping pong balls, which could be extremely dangerous.
The hail today, I mean, my goodness, if you're out there with all those large hailstones, you could get hit in the head.
This video was taken by a viewer in Jupiter, showing just how painful it can be if you're caught outside in a hailstorm.
It's very scary because, you know, as I said, we don't expect stuff like that to happen.
This photo featuring a collection of hail piling up on patio furniture. While this is a smaller hailfall, it's not all people saw.
Some parts of Palm Beach Gardens in Jupiter had dollar size and also ping pong ball sized hail. Some hail 1 to 2 inches in diameter.
It's this larger hail that poses the bigger threat, not only to people, but also property.
As long as it doesn't damage anything, just roll with it. Have a good day.
It wasn't just Florida that was hit with severe weather yesterday. This was the scene about 100 miles south of Dallas, Texas. Heavy rain, strong winds, and large hail pounded the region. And as you can see right here, the hail in Texas much bigger than in Florida. Some the size of softballs that could crack a windshield. The threat of severe storms continues today, especially in Texas and also Louisiana. And now to Iowa, where the Mississippi River is still rising. Flood warnings cover 500 miles of the river that could bring some of the worst flooding in 20 years. In the town of McGregor, river levels are at major flood stage for the third straight day. Water pumps and sewer systems are working overtime to get all of that water out of basements. And so far, all of these pumps and all these sandbags are actually working.
Flood defenses are currently holding back the water from affecting Main Street. The water will climb about another foot as we head towards the weekend.
These up and down the Mississippi are still preparing for their crests in the coming days. That includes Lansing, where a bridge connecting Iowa and Wisconsin is closed until the water levels drop. Meteorologist Kason Fairricks has more.
Weather Window present.
There's a sort of quietness in the city of Lansing right now.
The bridge obviously is a huge lifeline for the town.
Flooding on the Mississippi River has closed the Blackhawk Bridge connecting the city to Wisconsin. Not only is it an inconvenience to people who use the bridge to get to work, but it also drops the number of people who visit the city.
Anytime the bridge is closed, we see a huge drop in the number of people that are visiting, especially over the weekends. And we are getting into the season where we're starting to ramp up for summer. So
the economic impacts may be felt more in the long term, but the flooding happening now cannot be ignored. Several roads are closed inside the Lansing city limits, the baseball field is completely covered in water, and pumps are working hard to keep the sewer system functioning properly.
And you can drive underneath the deck in the wintertime. We park underneath there.
Bob Hinkle has lived along the Mississippi in his house since 1993. The deck he normally parks his car under is now underwater, and his basement is filled with 53 inches of water.
We can still live in the house. We got everything out of the basement, and the heater and everything's upstairs, the washer and dryers.
And when asked if he would ever move,
we just absolutely love it. The kids love it. The grandkids love it. They're crawdad hunting down here. They're fishing all the time. They're down here. Catch a lot of fish when the river's down, and it just a little slice of heaven. We wouldn't move, that's for sure.
Is around the corner. In Utah, that brings a new concern. The vast majority of their winter snowpack still needs to melt. Residents are really facing two scenarios here: the chance of widespread flooding and also the chance to avoid it. Lincoln Gray spoke to a hydrologist as communities are getting ready.
Sandbags snake their way around the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Salt Lake in Murray, a project started by a group of volunteers from Sam's Club.
What if it flooded? I mean, what if the kids didn't have somewhere to go after school or weren't able to come in and have shelter, right?
Boys and Girls Club officials asked for the help, saying city officials warned them to get prepared, knowing the building is close to Little Cottonwood Creek.
They said, for caution and really, to be the most protected, we should really get the entire perimeter of our building here.
Preparations are underway at the park nearby. Sandbags are in place, and bridges have been temporarily removed, all in anticipation of heavy spring runoff. So far, snowpack has come down gradually.
All in all, we've had these episodic warming and cooling trends that really, it's been quite beneficial.
But not perfect, according to National Weather Service hydrologist Glenn Merrill. Very cool days don't help.
Every day we don't melt snow is a day we have to melt snow later in the season.
But given that it's almost May, warm, even hot temperatures are coming.
A known is that the rivers are going to start really cranking in a lot of areas.
And California is facing another pesky problem. First, flooding concerns, now mosquitoes. Sophia Lesios is in Fresno with a look at why folks in the Golden State may be doing a lot of scratching for some time.
Ever heard of a mosquito epidemic? Experts say we might have millions of mosquitoes this summer because of that stagnant water in Tulare Lake bed.
I've been in mosquito control for over 30 years, and we've never seen anything close to this.
Experts are saying our unusually wet summer might come with a cost.
People will be getting bit more if they're outside in the evenings and at night.
Mosquito Abatement Kings District is warning because of all that stagnant water in Tulare Lake bed, the Central Valley will be seeing a catastrophic invasion of mosquitoes this summer.
Millions, easy, yeah. You're talking about potentially hundreds of thousands of acres up and down the valley that have never bred mosquitoes before that would be potentially breeding mosquitoes. So.
Mike Kavanaugh, the district's manager, says there are two big issues he's worried about. One, disease.
We're not really sure what's going to happen with that, but the potential is there for a big disease years because we have a higher abundance.
Second issue?
The water doesn't seep into the ground very well.
With high 90s just around the corner, snow melt from the Sierra Nevada mountains is expected to come down rivers fast. And in Corcoran and other parts of Tulare and Kings counties, the ground is hard as a rock.
That water there could persist for several months or years,
making the Central Valley a perfect breeding area. If the mosquito population gets out of hand, Kavanaugh said it could cost millions across the Central Valley to try to control all the bugs.
And a Japanese company says it appears to have lost the first commercially developed spacecraft that was supposed to land on the moon. iSpace says it assumes that Kudo R failed its scheduled landing earlier this week after a 3-month trek that started in December. Only 3 countries have the distinction of successfully landing on the moon: the U.S., China, and the former Soviet Union. And coming up right now on the National Weather Desk, we'll explore how new rules at Twitter could make getting severe weather alerts more difficult, and a look at how ocean temperatures can impact your weather. We'll be right back.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti. We look at the Northeast. Temps are starting the 40s early this morning. We'll see a little bit of sun today with a chance for a few scatter showers out there. Temperatures will be topping out in the 50s and low 60s. Friday's the pick of the week. Look for a lot of sunshine throughout most of the Northeast. The exception back into New York and perhaps southern New England. That's 1:30 in the afternoon. Some clouds already on the increase. High temperatures will be in the 60s. That next weather maker should be arriving on Saturday.
I'm meteorologist Jonathan Myers, and here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region, starting off along the Delmarva and the Tidewater with potentially some showers. Could even have a leftover rumble. Elsewhere, looks like some clearing skies. But as we head into our Thursday afternoon, again, south and east, there could be a stray shower. Everybody else looking at some partial sunshine with eventual rain that's going to arrive as we head into Friday. But our Thursday, nice. Highs in the upper 60s and 70s. That's the scene here.
I'm meteorologist Vetus Reed. Here's a look at your southeast forecast highs. We're seeing temperatures today in Raleigh, 66 degrees, 78 in Charleston, 74 Pensacola, Mobile at 74 degrees, Tampa about 90. So you see hot temperatures once you cross that line from Georgia to Florida. We are seeing some thunderstorm activity pushing through the panhandle of Florida near Pensacola. Looks like through the afternoon. As we get later in the day, those clouds will break. Maybe a few storms around Atlanta pushing into parts of eastern Tennessee and the Carolinas.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
This hail was falling fast and strong over Dublin and central Texas Wednesday evening, enough to send this bull running. Here's what it looked like in Texas the day before, and roughly 300 miles away, a supercell storm that produced hail and winds gusting over 100 miles per hour in the storm's rear flank downdraft. Now to more peaceful sights and the buzz of springtime.
For more content like this, like the National Weather Desk on Facebook.
If you use Twitter to get weather alerts, some changes could make it more difficult. Twitter announced they are going to limit the number of daily automated tweets an account can send. The National Weather Service says this will make it more difficult for them to send severe weather alerts, writing in a statement right here. Without this automated process, it would take minutes for forecasters to manually prepare warning information into a tweet. For every warning issued, seconds can make the difference here between life and death. Now, earlier I sat down with meteorologist Ed Piotrowski to learn more about this issue.
So the National Weather Service constructs warnings that are issued from their platforms, and with the automation with Twitter, they're able to send that warning and go directly to the platform, and it's sent out to all the different accounts. So that process is just a few seconds or so. The problem is if the API goes away, now the forecaster has to literally sit and take several minutes to construct a warning tweet and send it out. And that's not good because, as we all know, just a few seconds can mean the difference between life and death when it comes to especially tornadoes and very strong storms.
I don't know what an API is.
For lack of better words, it's basically an automated system used by Twitter. So as soon as the National Weather Service hits send, it also basically trips Twitter to send that warning out as well. So in a sense, they're going out simultaneously.
What do you recommend we do if this change happens?
So right now, I don't recommend that you use social media at all when it comes to warnings, simply because with Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, nothing is really chronological. In addition to that, when these are posted on your pages, only a very small percent of your followers will actually see them. So really the best way to get a warning is a National Weather Service or a NOAA weather radio, or download your favorite television station's weather app. When you do that, make sure you turn on locations and notifications. And if your address falls within a warning polygon, you will be alerted immediately. Those are two fail-safes that certainly beat social media every day.
And as we have reported right here, La Nina ended the spring with El Nino starting soon. Ocean temperatures have a direct impact on weather patterns. As Seattle meteorologist Rebecca Stevenson explains, NOAA is researching how the heat of the ocean moves around.
The National Data Buoy Center is upgrading observations in an array of buoys networked in the Central and Eastern Pacific Ocean. The Tropical Atmosphere Ocean, shortened to TAO, is an array of 55 strategically placed buoys anchored to the seafloor. They sample and measure conditions like air temperature, relative humidity, wind speed and direction, plus temperatures at the sea surface and other deeper depths, along with measuring currents, radiation, rain, and barometric pressure. Scientists use these measurements to observe complex ocean and atmospheric interactions across the equatorial Pacific Ocean, especially the El Niño-La Niña climate patterns. Tracking the variability of temperatures in the Pacific from the sea surface to greater depths below can show movement of heat over time through different depths of seawater. This may show how El Niño and La Niña start and end, and it improves our ability to simulate and predict them with models. El Niño is a transfer of heat and energy between the western and eastern sides of the Pacific. A better picture of when surface heat has or hasn't penetrated deeper waters can lead to better predictions of when and where that heat moves. By the end of this fiscal year, September 30th, 2023, there will be 5 prototype buoys deployed across the Pacific, with one of them providing publicly available data. New buoys will be then deployed in 2025 and 2026, with the remainder in 2027.
A unique cloud formation caused by falling rain and snow was recently photographed by a viewer in Missoula, Montana. They wanted to know what they were seeing. Meteorologist Mitchell Combs explains more about the photo and its unique features.
What we have going on here is a convective shower from a cumulus cloud. However, this is no ordinary shower. There's something quite unique going on in that circled area at the bottom. This is something you wouldn't be able to see unless you were this far away. In these examples, see how the precipitation bends away from the main column of the shower, similar to the bottom of a bell. This feature is known as a snow or rain foot. They can occur at any time of the year, and the process in forming them is the same regardless of the name. The one difference is the type of precipitation that is falling from these showers. How do these features form? As precipitation falls, it quickly accelerates due to evaporative cooling, making it more dense. As this precipitation reaches the surface, it can't go any further into the ground, so it must spread outward. This outward motion creates the classic shape we see. Not every shower or storm will produce a foot feature. However, those that do can indicate a higher likelihood of reduced visibility and gusty winds. Stronger storms in the spring and summer can show these and result in microbursts, which can produce winds exceeding 70 miles per hour. This is strong enough to take down trees and cause power outages.
And now that we are fully into spring, many people are working on their flower beds and vegetable gardens. If you live in an area dealing with severe drought, a rain garden might be something you may want to think about. Here is meteorologist Harrison Clark with more on these gardens that do not just spruce up your yard, they are also good for the environment.
Rain gardens. They're more than a beautiful touch to your yard.
A rain garden is quite simply a depression in the ground.
They're a way to manage and store water.
It's a depressed rain garden that allows water the opportunity to slow down and to infiltrate.
And they also reduce the amount of stormwater runoff, a leading distributor of pollution.
And then also we can reduce the amount of stress on the, quote, centralized system, which is going to help prevent community flooding. And lastly, one of the reasons that I really enjoy rain gardens is because of the habitat we're able to create. We're able to provide for birds and butterflies and other forms of beneficial wildlife.
This is how they work.
The water flows off of the roof You can see it comes down and hits this downspout filter, which is going to filter out any debris before it enters a cistern. A cistern is just a little bit bigger rainwater harvesting system than a rain barrel. Typically, we see people use rain barrels, which is anything under 100 gallons. This is actually 150 gallons. So that water, once that fills up from the roof, it's going to overflow from this pipe here and into our rain garden.
Helping the community and wildlife one garden at a time.
And a quick reminder here to check out our new podcast, Off the Radar. A new episode all about using meteorology to solve crimes is out right now. You can find Off the Radar wherever you get your podcasts. Time for a short break. As we go, let's take a look at the Pacific Ocean near San Francisco.
Well, a very good Thursday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buckmichael. Taking a look at your weather story across the Midwest. We got some scattered showers and storms starting to move into the plains. Also, some rain starting to move in from the south across the southern part of the Midwest. As we continue into the day tomorrow, the southern rain kinds of move into the Ohio Valley, and the stuff that was out in the plains moves a little bit more into Iowa and Minnesota. That continues moving out towards the Great Lakes as we head into your Saturday, and temperatures staying fairly mild.
Well, a good Thursday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Chris Suchan. Our forecast today across the region, and we'll be keeping an eye on the Gulf Coast where there's a chance for a couple thunderstorms to start the day. And later in the afternoon, might get a storm up around Little Rock into Arkansas. Otherwise, the rest of the region really enjoying a pretty nice day. Pretty cool upward Oklahoma in the 50s and low 60s. Friday, we're going to get a lot of sunshine, a pretty warm day, but late afternoon into the evening, another front dropping into the region could kick up some heavy weather into a Friday evening, Friday night across Texas.
Well, hi there, everybody, and happy Thursday to you. Nearing the end of April and feeling more like summer instead of spring all of a sudden along parts of the West Coast. Look at Las Vegas at 92, 80s out of Reno, upper 70s expected today in the Rose City of Portland, Oregon. So warm all the way into the Pacific Northwest for the first time this season. Next weather maker, an area of low pressure dropping over the Rockies for some snow near Yellowstone today, believe it or not. And that's the scene from here.
The National Weather Desk.
Microbursts are often mistaken for tornadoes, and although they are not the same thing, they can be just as deadly. Meteorologist Steve Knight explains.
Now, as with many forms of severe weather, it all starts with a thunderstorm and water droplets and hailstones being suspended within the updraft. If dry air starts to invade the environment in or around a thunderstorm, it can cause rain to evaporate and leave behind large sections of air that are suddenly cooler than their surroundings, causing evaporative cooling. This less dense air sinks to the ground, falling faster and faster until impact. The weight of the rain and hail also contributes to the speed of a microburst. The two processes combined help create microbursts. As the air hits the ground, it's forced outward. The biggest danger posed by microbursts is their sudden, sneaky formation. Wind speeds of microbursts can reach up to 100 miles per hour or even higher, which is equivalent to an EF1 tornado. Winds this high can cause major damage to homes and other structures and level hundreds of trees.
And you can find us on all of your favorite social media platforms. Just search the National Weather Desk. We'll be right back. And thank you so much for joining us. Tomorrow on the National Weather Desk, we'll find out why this year has been one of the worst for allergies. I'm Angela Brown. Make it a great Thursday, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.